I had been holding myself off from making a video about one of the players I'm going to be talking about here today, because he was one of those players who, going back to when he was drafted, reading some articles about him, checking out what he was able to do in his respective leagues over there across the ocean, he was one of those players who I personally was excited for. It was a low-key excitement because I've seen a lot of people talking about what he was capable of. And this player right here is finally somebody who Vancouver Canucks fans, Utica Comets fans over here in North America are getting exposure to, and this is Lukas Jasek. So, Jasek is a player who's finally in North America. I think that's kind of needless to say at this point, seeing as Jasek playing for the Utica Comets is one of the hottest players on the team right now. And I say one of the hottest because he just finished up his season over there with the Bílí Tigri Liberec in the Czech League. You guys might remember, I had quite a bit of a rivalry with that team playing in the NHL 14 season modes with my San Antonio Renegades. But he got himself 18 points in 48 games over there, which, it's okay. It's fine. He's a 20-year-old, a right winger. He was drafted in 2015, so this is the Besser Gaudet draft. So a lot of people kind of stopped talking about him for a really long time because he was having this progression that just didn't give any of us the opportunity to talk about him. Nobody saw him play. Nobody really checked up on him as much as we probably should have because he was playing in the Tier 2, Tier 3 Czech leagues. And now he finally got himself a chance to play full-time in the Big Boys League over there in the Czech Republic. Finishing up that season over there, coming over here to Utica, he is now a hot player. In his first game played, after signing his tryout contract, he got himself a goal and 2 assists, a total of 3 points, and now in this game against the Toronto Marlies, which was Kole Lind's Utica Comets debut wearing the number 37, Lukas Jasek got himself another 2 assists. It was a 3-2 overtime loss for the Marlies. Lukas Jasek assisted on both of the Comets' goals. Kole Lind, on the other hand, is making his debut here today in the Utica Comets system. It's his first step up, finally playing professional hockey. Stepped down, finished this season with the Kelowna Rockets, got eliminated in the playoffs. Disappointing series for the Rockets, to be honest. But Kole Lind himself wasn't that bad in that series, as he was able to notch himself 8 points in the 4 games played. They got swept, and that's kind of obvious, but he's now here in Utica. He got himself no points today, but he still was able to get himself exposure in this game. So I wanted to talk about this too, because this is a story that does tie in with the Lukas Jasek thing. Jasek is a player who a lot of people were saying that he probably had talent, and he did have skill, but it was all low-key. Which is why I believe there was a really good amount of hype for him, and I say that despite him being a 6th rounder. I do believe that there was a few people out there in the fan base who really thought, yeah, he's gonna probably amount to something, and the fact that this 20-year-old playing in the Czech League, the full-time Czech League, was able to get himself a good season over there, then finish up the season, come over to North America, play in the AHL, get himself 5 points in 2 games, that's crazy. That's crazy. And I don't know what to expect going forward. Obviously, I don't expect Jasek to be one of the guys who makes the NHL next year. Although, if he did make the NHL next year, that would be another one of those surprising, whoa, where'd you come from stories. Jesper Bratt comes to mind. But, obviously, the Canucks got themselves a player who's looking to be promising in this young kid. And I love it. I absolutely love it. When was the last time we had a Czech winger on our team? And Lukas Jasek, a lot of people are talking about, oh, he's a young Czech guy coming over on the right wing, and he's doing well. He's going to be the next Jaromír Jágr, and obviously, that's not going to happen. But at the same time, a boy can dream. Obviously, though, this is another testament to just how interesting things are playing out in terms of what we got in our drafts. Because this was the 2015 draft. We got Brock Boeser, who was absolutely tearing things up, at least when he's in the lineup. Jean Brisebois is down there in Utica as well. He looks to sort of being able to develop into that role of being a 7th or 6th defenseman. I don't really know. Dmitry Zhukanov is a player who, a lot of people, let's be honest, they kind of had him falling off the radar too, just like Hasek, but he's playing in the KHL right now for Omsk Avangard. Then we got ourselves Carl Neal, who, a lot of people thought that he would become a really good player too, let's be honest. Coming out of the Sherbrooke Phoenix in the QMJHL, I was one of those believers, man. I thought that he had sort of a shot at becoming an NHLer. Then next up in the 5th round, Adam Gaudette. Gaudette is another one of those guys who, he's in the NHL today. Let's just leave it at that. Lukas Jasek comes in the 6th round from the Osalari Trinex development team, I'm pretty sure. And then Tate Olson, who I believe doesn't have a future with the Canucks. I'm just going to be blunt right there. He's spent 5 years in the WHL right now, and he's getting himself, 24 points, 54 games played, but as a defenseman, 21 years old, I don't know. But other than that, it looks like we do have some really interesting stories coming out of this draft, and this could be very interesting, because this has the potential to be the one draft that did give us a lot of players, and the one draft in the past, 10 years, going back, to actually give us players who are playing for us today. The last draft to have multiple players playing for us right now is, well, going back to 2012, Ben Hutton and Brendan Gaunce. 2013, there's only Horvat. 2014, there's Jake Virtanen and Thatcher Demko, which I guess you could count that as well. Then 2015, Besser, Brisebois, Gaudette, and Hasek. And Lukas Jasek is definitely a player that I'm excited for still to this day, because there isn't anything to tell us that he's not going to be a good player. Because everything that he's been going through the Czech leagues and whatnot, this is not a step back from the NHL. This is an alternative level right now, because he's still playing professional hockey over there, and he's finally getting the chance to come over and play some professional hockey over here as well. Kole Lind, on the other hand, he signed himself that tryout contract. He's here playing, and since the Utica Comets clinched themselves a playoff spot, I wonder what things are going to develop like under Trent Cull over there in the Utica Comets system. I really hope they do go far, though. I did watch the Comets series when they faced up against the, I don't know if it was the Manchester Monarchs or the Ontario Reign in the finals, and they lost. I remember Biz Nasty, Paul Bissonnette, was on the other team, and he said that they were really good, but other than that, I'm really looking forward to this Comets playoff run. I probably will watch the games, if I can. Some of them, maybe. If there are any good stories coming out of these Comets games, I will be inclined to talk about them. Lukas Jasek is a story that I wanted to talk about here, and as he is playing with the Comets right now, 5 points in 2 games played, I think it just felt kind of appropriate to talk about him a little bit more, especially since this was also Kole Lind's first AHL game, and I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit more too, but at the same time, let's be honest here, we've been talking about Kole Lind all season. Let's just give the spotlight to other people now that haven't been talked about. And that's why I wanted to talk about this today. Lukas Jasek, as I said at the beginning of the video, was one of the guys that I really wanted to just gush over the past few years. I wanted to make a lot of videos talking about prospects and whatnot, but talking about Lukas Jasek earlier in the season didn't really feel right to me, because a lot of people would have been like, huh? He exists? What the hell? And that's kind of weird. It is kind of weird. And I didn't really feel that it was appropriate, but now that he's in the AHL, grabbing himself a lot of points, I felt that now is the time to start talking about Jasek. Because no matter what you say about his development path, oh, he played here, he's not going to be good. Oh, he's like this, 18 points, 48 games, it's not good. You think he's going to be an AHL superstar? Nah, he's just going to be another Hunter Shinkarik. He's 20 years old, guys. He's got a late birthday in terms of NHL seasons. He's going to be turning 21 right before September. And this right-wing, right-handed shot player does have the opportunities to become a player who we could get excited for. At 6 feet, 165 pounds, he does have a little bit of maturing to go through. But at the same time, that's not stopping him from getting points. He had 2 assists earlier today on the only 2 Comets goals against the Marlies. So going forward throughout the Utica Comets playoff run, I will be paying attention. I want to see these guys succeed. I want all of these guys to have great playoff runs. Reed Boucher, rip your hand. But at the same time, we got ourselves a really good supporting cast. Kole Lind's coming in. He should be fire if he maintains his strengths. Lukas Jasek playing really well right now. Joseph Labate is playing pretty well. Zach McEwen is surprisingly doing extremely well for himself as well. And it's just great, man. Jolin Chatfield's getting himself points and all that. He got himself a goal today. And of course, Thatcher Demko in net. You can't go wrong with that. But this Utica Comets team is proving that they can still win. Even with all the Canucks injuries, all the Utica Comets injuries, all the Utica Comets getting called up to Vancouver to play, they're still in the playoff race, man. And they have already clinched. So I can't wait. Hope you guys enjoyed this video tutorial plus. If you down, sure, like not stress 9 gaming, and bye.